Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Welcome to Love and Money Live. We are so glad you are here with us today. This is an exciting day because we are celebrating primary spenders. That's right. Woo! Spenders out there, unite.
We love spenders.
Yes, we do.
You know what we don't love?
What?
We don't love is 14 inches of snow on May 20th.
It was crazy.
I've lived in Colorado Springs pretty much my whole life. I mean, I was
Okay.
raised here. I moved here when I was like 6 months old or something. I don't
Yeah.
know. And I have never in my life been out at 9 o'clock at night hitting snow off the trees because limbs were breaking because
Yes.
it's the heaviest snow you've ever seen in your life.
Spring snow.
Yeah, so our kids had a snow day during finals week.
This is not good.
All right, I'm done venting.
All
It
right.
has nothing to do with our subject today.
Nothing,
but
absolutely
I'm still, whining.
Yes, if there's any other of you out there that are either enjoying the weather or not, whatever, just give us a thumbs up.
Yeah, if it's 98 degrees where you are, I don't want to hear about it. Love you, but I'll love you more in June.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, so what are we talking about today, babe?
Well, today we're celebrating primary spenders,
Love
or
spenders.
secondary spenders. One of the things is oftentimes we are both primary spenders.
Right.
Some attributes of primary spenders: very generous.
Love to give money
Love
away.
to give money away. Love to spend money on themselves, family, but then also love spending money on others. But here's the thing: oftentimes we are married to our opposite.
I would say at least 80% of the time we have
80%
an
of the
opposite
time.
dynamic in our relationships.
Absolutely. And if you don't know what your opposite dynamics are, make sure that you go ahead and take the money personality assessment. And then we have resources for you to be able to help figure that out. But here's the thing that is so cool is that if you are a primary or secondary spender, you are very generous, you love to give gifts, you don't mind spending money, but you're probably married to somebody who is not like you. You know, oftentimes, especially when we're looking for someone to get married, even subconsciously, we're looking for somebody to kind of balance us out. And so money is no different. You know, I can't tell you, like 80% of people that we work with and that we have seen that have taken the assessment are married to their money opposite. And so what happens is at first, that seems very intriguing.
Yeah, it's kind of a balancing act.
Exactly, just kind of that nice balance. But then it starts really getting on your nerves.
Right.
Nagging. It feels like nagging. It feels like they're telling you what to do, and it's just wah, 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 wah. As a matter of fact, I was sitting getting my nails done, spender, and I was sitting and listening to two ladies talk, and this one lady was like, I can't believe it. Every time I send Steve to the store, I ask him to get 2 things, and he comes back with 10. Oh, yeah. Now, that could be him or me, but what happens is it's bugging her to death. And it's bugging her so much that she tells her best friend when she's getting her nails done.
I have a story.
Okay, go ahead.
So we were sitting down with a couple this week, and they had done their money personality assessment before they come in. We were doing a little financial advising for them. And he was a primary risk taker, security seeker. So saver, security seeker, risk taker, spender.
Ugh.
And so I said, she got there a little before he did. And I said, so tell me a little about yourself, and we're talking. And she said, well, I want to talk about these money personalities. And I was like, fine, we can get started with that now, and then when he comes in, we can bring him up to speed. And I showed her the opposite dynamic of the saver, security seeker, risk taker, spender. And her comment to me was, I said, do you all struggle with money? Do you argue about money? And she said, well, not anymore. We haven't talked about money in 20 years.
20 years?
I was like, how do you not talk about money for 20
Well,
years?
first of all, that's not true. I mean,
Right.
they never
They had
maybe,
to have talked about it somehow.
Well, yes, because they probably didn't talk about their financial planning part.
Right, for 20 years.
But every day money impacts
And then
us.
she followed that up with going, oh, he just spends money on everything. I told him he can never retire. He has to keep making money because with the guns that he buys and with him going out with his friends, and she listed about 6 things. There was I'd known her for about 30 seconds. And there was clearly some major, major resentment. And part of me thought, man, I've survived this relationship has lasted this long because they'd been married for 24 years. I was really kind of surprised the relationship had lasted. I'm sorry, it was 34 years because he was getting ready to retire. I was totally shocked it had lasted that long because she was so resentful. And he came in, and when it came to the planning part, he was engaged. But when we tried to dive a little deeper into just their communication, man, he shut down.
Yeah.
So what are we
obviously
talking
a lot
about
of hurt
today?
But here's the thing. If you are a primary, secondary spender, it can sometimes feel like, my gosh, I just want to get rid of this person.
Yeah,
'cause they're
totally
just
controlled.
irritated so much all the time. But here's some things to consider before you want to just throw in the towel and say, forget it. And just kind of do what they did, where they probably are emotionally very separate,
Yeah.
even though they're still married. We want engaged relationships. We want relationships where there's a lot of love, where
Yeah.
there's a lot of passion. And the only way to get there is if you fully understand each other, you fully understand each other's differences. All right? So let's dive in. All right, so consideration number 1. If you are married, now, again, we are Scott and Bethany Palmer, the Money Couple, and today we're talking about 3 considerations before you throw in the towel to your saver spouse. Now, it could be saver, it could be security seeker, but before you throw in the towel. All right, so the first consideration is, and this is a good one, this is important, there are benefits to having a spouse who is a primary or secondary saver.
Absolutely.
Some of those benefits include their real desire to want to save for the future. You know, if you aren't like that, they have this real desire, and if you have that nest egg that you're saving up for, it's probably because of the saver in your relationship.
Yeah. I mean, it's great to have a saver when you're out spending because you can get what you want and they'll get you a better deal. So you gotta
That's another thing,
Yeah,
too.
you gotta look at the positives. It's so easy for us to get hung up on the negatives of different money personalities. But we always say there's no right money personality, there's no wrong money personality. But really understanding there are some pros to the money personality is huge.
Absolutely. Now, also your saver spouse might be the kind of person who they save a lot of money, so therefore they can stay home with the kids. And the best investment we can make is in our kids. And no one can raise your kid better than you can.
That's the
Absolutely not. So, you know, there may be some room to wiggle room because they watch the money so closely. That would be another reason. Another one that comes to mind too is that you may have an emergency fund now. So when emergencies happen, they do happen. You may have one now because of your saver spouse. So really focus on, like, remember when you were first dating that person, what were some of those benefits that really appealed to you in that person, that they were a saver, that now you're just like, boom, let's make sure that we really highlight those benefits. All right, honey, so
Right.
consideration number 1 is there are benefits to having a saver. All right, consideration number 2, try to understand where your spouse is coming from.
And this is huge because
Yeah.
so often we just get so frustrated and you maybe feel controlled by your
Yep.
saver. You just feel like, oh, can we ever do anything fun, or can we ever do anything spontaneous when it
Yes.
comes to money? Just go on a trip, go to a nice dinner. Can we ever do that without the complaining? And
Or without the Groupon.
right, without the Groupon. Yeah, we had one guy that went off on Groupon
Anyway.
in one of our workshops. But
Anyway.
anyways, it's, you know, it is understanding that is who they are.
Right. That is exactly who they are. And when you decide to kind of really look at it from their perspective, it helps you in an understanding. And if you look at it at their perspective, they're going to have more probably desire, if you will, to look at it from your perspective.
Yeah, so I think that's such a good point. You can say, listen, honey, I understand why you want to save money because you're a saver, and I want to be sensitive to that. However, you have to be sensitive to the fact that I'm a spender, and you need to be okay with us spending some money.
Yeah, exactly. You know, remembering that it's in your DNA, it's never going to change. So
No.
if you think you're going to change your saver spouse, it's never going to happen. So it's learning
Good
to
luck.
work with it. It's learning to look at it from their perspective, them learning to look at it from your perspective. But again, it starts with you, okay?
Right.
We're Scott and Bethany Palmer, the Money Couple, and today we're talking about 3 considerations to make while you are really agitated and irritated at your saver spouse and before you throw in the towel. All right, consideration number 1, there are benefits. Consideration number 2, look at it from their perspective. And now let's talk about consideration number 3. Acknowledge that your desire to spend is equally stressful for you, your significant other.
Right.
It's another way of looking at it from their perspective. It is stressful for them to spend, just like it is stressful for you to save.
Right.
So looking at the stress factor of what this is happening and what is real will really help you start to figure out, okay, how can we compromise? How can we compromise with purpose? Because you as your saver, you're never going to change. Me as my spender, I'm never going to change. It's never going to happen. but you love this person. You want to have a great relationship with this person. And if you want to have a great relationship with this person, you've got to see it from their perspective. You've got to understand and come to it that it is stressful. Instead of putting them down for it, there's this one gentleman, and he always goes, cheap, 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 whenever
Brutal,
it's
man.
brutal. And that's not going to bring the love, make the love grow, that's for sure. So looking at it from their perspective, and trying is going to, and then if you do that, then they'll in return want to reciprocate. Wouldn't you say, honey?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it takes two to tango, but it also takes two to compromise.
Yeah.
And I think, especially being a spender, it's really easy to get frustrated with a saver. Now, we don't have that in our relationship. We have another opposite dynamic that we're not talking about today that creates stress. But that one is a huge one, especially for a saver married to a spender. And so you just have to I love what Bethany always says: compromise with purpose. Compromise with purpose. You can compromise, but if you're really compromising to move your relationship forward and you're verbalizing that and you're both on the same page, your relationship's going to be just fine.
All right, you're probably wondering, how do I learn how to compromise with purpose? And how do I do that in a way? And we have put a system. Scott and I, we had a lot of challenges and differences in ours. Our secondary money personalities would bump into each other all the time, and we were done with it. So we started implementing some system and some things into our own relationship that really helped. The money dump. No, it's not going to the bathroom, but money dump, money huddle, fighting fair. There's just some really, really great tools that we put together, all in the love and money system. And I just love this system. You've got to get a hold of it, really. It will revolutionize your relationship. And wow, that's funny.
Just wanted to see it.
Oh, there you go. It is so great. We have the physical box, and that have a bunch of extra goodies in there, and then we also have the online version as well. But you've got to pick it up, and we put this system together. It's super simple, super easy, but it's really going to teach you how to use your money personalities inside of your relationship and learn how to compromise in a way. It's going to have lasting impact in your relationship, and therefore for generations to come. We're going to actually put the link right in the down in the comments. And you know what? I got a little tip for you. If you do 10 now, number 1, number 0, capital N, capital O, capital W, if you use that in checkout, get a 10% discount. Now, I know you're not a saver, but we all like a little good deal, don't we? All right.
That's right.
That's right.
Hey, thank you for joining us.
Absolutely.
We know that money personalities can be tough. And we know living with someone in a relationship that has an opposite money personality can be really tough. You're going to have those collisions. But this love and money system, within 90 days, you can radically transform your relationships. And that's why we want to do it. Quick changes, quick compromise, and you can have the marriage that you've always wanted.
Absolutely.
So thanks for joining us. And as always,
make it happen.